NFL, golf, ping pong, and sports betting. Wait, back up. Ping pong? What the hell? This is Jump Shots from the Goal Line.
Watch out! He's got getting away from the top speed.
Hot takes and hilarious banter on everything from college football to the NBA and everything in between, except ping pong. And we're not just flying solo. We're bringing in some heavy hitters from the world of sports. Journalists, players, legends. You name it, we've got them. Why should they have all the fun?
Bryant for the win. Bang!
This is Jump Shots from the Goal Line. Where every episode is a slam dunk. And now your hosts, Jonathan Dugan and John Henningsen.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back after a long hiatus of a whole freaking week. Look, it's the dog days of summer. Not a whole lot going on in terms of the sports universe. Everybody's busy playing college football 25 anyway. The Olympics just started, so we do have a little bit of reprieve there. If there's a sport that you ever imagined, would Henny and Dugan talk about that? The Olympics is kind of providing that. I do find it hilarious that we have ping pong in our intro.
And I was wondering if you're going to bring this up.
Yeah, ping pong is in the Olympics, people. If you're not, watching, what are you truly doing? Because it's electric. So electric that Mr. John Henningsen over here was actually watching it this weekend.
I watch it all, man. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to the Olympics, like I'm just like a sports sicko. And if there's like nothing else going on, yeah, I'm gonna like dabble in all of it. I don't know that I've spent a lot. I will say actually ping pong is the one. I shouldn't say the one. We can talk about some of the events just generally speaking. In terms of ping pong, while actually watching it, I'm glad I'm just casually what I would consider to be a good ping pong player. We're like, I'm going to show up. I'm not going to be able to embarrass myself. You know, grew up at a boys and girls club. Good enough I could hang in a rec league and not embarrass myself. But when you watch like someone actually be good at ping pong, I'm like, dude, what a dork. Like that guy, what a nerd.
What an absolute Melvin.
It is so hard to look cool being actually good at ping pong. The cradling, the drama and like the technicality that's all happening there is just, man, it's hard to look cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, dude. I too, especially in the office that we both work at, they have a ping pong table there. Back when I first got hired at our job, like 8 years ago, I definitely played a lot. Eventually stopped playing, but it is wild to watch some of those dudes just put on a show with like the spin and everything. That is cool, but I agree with you, dude. It's one of those things where you can only watch it like. The whole like red zone thing that they have going on for the Olympics, what do they call it? The gold zone?
Gold zone, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they have like Hansen and Siciliano in there. So it's like, which is, I do like having those two bots in the same room. That's interesting.
Whoever came up with that idea, like hats off to you, because honestly, that was a great idea because there are just so many asinine freaking Olympic events, kind of like what Brett's saying here. If there's a sport you'd never want to watch, there's an Olympic event for it. But guess what? If there's a thing like Gold Zone, you're damn skippy watching it for sure. I know that like this weekend, we had like our 100% dinner stuff for work. So, you know, I went out to eat, then I went to the casino because that's where my wife's was. Had a great time at the casino. Lost $100 within 5 minutes, as people do. But then obviously drinks were had, whatever. We woke up in the morning, went to Baja Cafe. If you're in Tucson, and you've lived in Tucson for an amount of time, you know Baja Cafe is like just the bee's knees. But I had Gold Zone going on my phone, dude, and let me tell you, nothing hits harder than some pineapple pancakes and a bloody when you got Gold Zone going. I watched rugby, which, by the way, rugby's pretty dope. Like when it's not football season, rugby's a good consolation. I don't know if you watched any of it.
So I saw like the very back end of like the gold medal game So like the sevens, right? So you're
Yeah.
talking sevens, I presume.
I think so.
And the one where France wins, right? France wins gold on their home turf. They beat New Zealand, who had never lost in this event,
Yeah.
at least in the Olympics or whatever.
The All Blacks.
And so, yeah, I mean, I did watch a little bit of it. I would say the opposite. I was like, I don't really understand why anybody would do this. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Very, cute men's cheerleading structure thing that they built to ultimately fall in. What I really did is I tuned into the game. It was 14-7, and I was like, holy shit, it's just Iowa football. And as you know what I mean? I'm like, I guess this is okay. And I guess this is a healthy substitute as you're prescribing. But I don't know. I won't say it really pulled me in to say that it was like I could do it every 4 years, like for this cause.
Yeah.
But I think I'll just stick to if I catch a highlight, I catch a highlight on the rugby side.
Yeah. I really enjoy watching the swimming, to be honest with you. Like that always plays. Like that's honestly really fun to watch. I used to be a swimmer, fun fact. Like back in the day, I used to swim competitively.
Dude, you're 6'5".
Yeah. People don't know that. If you don't know, I'm 6'5". If you don't believe me, go to the Instagram. By the way, go ahead and click subscribe on that Instagram. I was a 100 free guy, right? A little quick sprint. So it's cool to watch us go out there, and we typically dominate. I was explaining it to my wife because we were watching it together. And correct me if I'm wrong, Henny. You're an Olympic head.
I'm an Olympic historian.
Yeah,
I'm not, but sure, yeah.
In swimming, it's typically like us, South Africa, and Australia, right? Like those are kind of like the three.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment. I mean, with mixed results based on which country may or may not be doping.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point.
Russia's had some nice, all of a sudden Russia's okay at swimming for a year. China's been up and down in swimming, mysteriously. But yeah, I think generally speaking, I think you're leaning on the right countries.
What I think is hilarious is even the suits are kind of doping, right? Remember the suits that they wore back in the Phelps days where they were the super body suits and they would just go hyper fast. And now you have world records that will just never be shattered. That's what the Olympics brings you. That's the fun stuff.
I saw some rumors sprinkled out there today that there's slow water. It's a slow water meet because they weren't happy with how fast the U.S. was running before. So, don't know what haven't gotten dug into the accusations, but hearing rumors of slow water.
It's all the piss in the pool, dude. I don't know if you heard the rumors.
Yeah, I did hear about. Yeah, I've heard those rumors for sure.
This is a fun story. I didn't know. Brett bringing it up. Japan fired their best gymnast for smoking a cigarette. Sorry for trying to look cool, Japan. What the hell?
Yeah, dude. That's I didn't think. I mean, that shouldn't be a fireable offense. I hope that's not true. I hope it is true because it's funny, but I also hope it's not true. Yeah,
it's coming from Brett. He is the podcast unofficial Japan expert. From what I've
he is, yeah, he's dialed in. He can sense it down to his fingertips there. So,
I still contend that look, the Olympics are fun, but we need to spice it up a little bit. I truly do think we need to bring back shooting, what do you call it, dueling. Dueling would play really well.
Saw that push on the internet. Yeah, people want to bring back murder, which I get it.
Look, dude, Hamilton was a world-renowned Broadway play, and it's because you had Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr just shooting each other. So bring it back to the Olympics.
People like hip hop. No, it's not just because it was.
I think it's the murder.
It's just the best. I thought it was just the best. It's just the best rap anybody's ever heard.
It's murder with rap overtones, which is basically just a 50 Cent music video, which everybody loves. You know what I mean? So.
Speaking of everybody loves Snoop Dogg, and he is the unofficial mascot of America. I'm not sure what happened exactly that he's done this, but continues to be one of the most incredible stories in just the history of the world. He falls on the list of people you won't be able to describe to people 50 years from now. You're like, so what was Snoop Dogg exactly? You're like, dude, sit down. This is going to take a while. Between the murder and then there's Snoop Lion and then he was friends with Martha Stewart, and then you have to do a whole thing on explaining that, and ultimately
Yeah.
ended up as an Olympic mascot / Corona spokesperson. And everything seemed to be going really well. And then he hosted a bowl game in Tucson, and just a totally normal life, honestly, nothing really to see here.
Don't forget, he also coached, friend of the pod, Chuba
He did.
Mai. Like,
Yeah.
He's liked our post before, so he's basically a friend of the pod.
He is. He's a friend of the pod, which is like we're actually the most exciting thing. Probably our best connection. Outside of the players themselves.
Yeah.
Snoop, near and dear to our heart. So sorry to all of you, like faithful listeners that are dialed in. Our Instagram friendship with Snoop probably outweighs that just by just a touch.
Might be one of the coolest accomplishments of my life. To be honest with you, I'm a father.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I feel like an Olympian.
Yeah, dude, I feel like we got the gold medal of podcast. You know what I mean? No, but the Olympics have been cool, man. Like, I enjoy them for sure. What did you think of the opening ceremonies, though?
I mean, I think I'm radicalized.
I just thought, dude, I feel like that's its own Olympic game anymore. I feel like every year, whoever the host country is, that's what I mean, though. It's like
what? Yeah, I don't
how
know.
do we top it? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this year was pretty up there. I did enjoy the Gojira concert where they had Marie Antoinette beheaded, and then you just have heavy metal playing.
That was kind of sick, right? Yeah.
What is it? The Seine River or whatever? I think.
Yeah, it's like over the Seine River, Seine, whatever. I'm not sure how you say it either. I'm not that Parisian.
That was sick, dude. That was way cooler than
flames, rock. Yeah, old buildings. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. The rest of it was, hey, if that's your cup of tea, that's cool. It was definitely out there, absolutely. But
I don't know, dude. The French are assholes. That's the thing. That's what I mean, right?
do.
Isn't that what we've always that's even in Dumb and Dumber? It's I don't know, Lloyd. The French are ass. We all look. It's in Paris. French people doing something that doesn't appeal to a particular part of America. It should not be surprising.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right there. Let me look it up really quick. Who's leading the Olympics right now? Japan. Wow, Brett, look at you.
Congratulations.
Japan's leading the Olympics right now with France in second. That's definitely collusion. We all know that. China, Australia, and then the US. The US has the most medals with 20. We're not getting the gold this time.
We're not getting the gold, yeah. Which I do think is a little I want all 12 golds for when we win men's Olympic basketball, right? They're going to give us one in the counter. But I'm I want 12 in that counter because that's a team. I kind of feel like they should get I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me how they count it. It's whatever. We're going to be fine as a nation from an Olympic standpoint. The rest to be determined. But I did just want to ask, is there any other sports that caught your attention? Is there anything else that's surprised you, or do you have a review on anything else that you've seen, or what's the other why is this a sport? What am I watching?
I haven't caught the breaking yet, but I did want to. I just, busy.
Is it already going?
Is it? Maybe not.
Maybe it just hasn't I was they're probably saving that for the grand finale, to be honest.
Because the Olympics are what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, we still have it's a full it's 15, 16 days, somewhere in that range.
Okay. So yeah, I don't think anything's really caught my eye except the rugby. Because I did turn to that and I was like, wow, this is actually very cool. The scrums and all that stuff. The women's rugby, that did catch my eye. Seeing that one girl just absolutely obliterate.
Yeah, what's her name? It's I don't know. It's
something like Pacific Islander, I think.
I'm not even sure. It's but she's taken the internet by storm. She's all over the place. She's got a whole thing about talking about her body mass index.
Yeah,
that's gone kind of crazy. But yeah, she's been just trucking people, which has been awesome. So that's been pretty cool. Just kind of beast moding people up and down the field. I watched field hockey for a bit. That's super confusing that they're playing with that weird little wooden hook cane. Very just weird sport to watch.
Is field hockey and lacrosse the same thing?
I feel like they should just play lacrosse instead of field hockey. I feel like it's much more aesthetically pleasing.
So it's not the same thing.
They're not. No. Okay. Field hockey is They take this, they like turn over a cane, the same
Mhm.
cane that you would see in a cartoonish old man.
Yeah.
They turn it over and then they like throw a little ball around, but it's just very, like they're just kind of like pushing and dragging. Like it looks like they're cleaning.
hmm
And that's like guys, girls, like it's not like it looks awkward from both sides. Very
Yeah.
weird sport.
Okay.
Water polo, I contest, I would drown immediately. Most exhausting, like daunting sport to watch so
Yeah.
far. And then men's gymnastics did pretty well today for America,
They got
finishing in
bronze.
bronze.
Yep.
And
First medal in 16 years.
and then I don't know if you saw the guy from the pommel horse who became like an internet star very quickly too, because he looked like Clark Kent or Peter Parker vibes. You know, just kind of like sitting there. He was just like the pommel horse specialist, which is that, you know, the beam with the two handles, and they're just kind of like, you know, spinning around on it, if you will,
Mhm.
doing tricks on it. You know, just kind of chilling there. But it's, I don't know. They had this weird specialist guy who was in their glasses waiting the whole day, and then he had his big dramatic moment, and yeah, they were able to pull out bronze. So that was kind of exciting.
There you go. Okay. Well,
There's moments. There's been moments.
yeah.
I can tell you're obviously not as hype about the Olympics, so I'm just gonna spit into the wind here. But
No,
I'm trying,
no.
man.
It's not that. It's just like it's like what you mentioned earlier. It's like what events have gripped me so far. Like there hasn't been like outside of the traditional stuff, right? Like basketball, swimming, that kind of stuff is what typically grips me. They haven't done any of the track yet, right? Like none of like
No, not really. No.
that'll grip me for sure. I love watching that stuff. Because I will never move even remotely close to that fast. So it's just that's like the closest like to superhuman things that we see. Oh, you know what I did watch? I couldn't believe that I was watching it. The stupid what's the thing with the swords?
Oh, fencing.
Fencing. I watched fencing for shit you not 20 minutes because I was just like, I've never watched this before. I've always like it's in the zeitgeist, right? Like you know about it. You know it's been around forever. So I was like, well, I have nothing better to do. I think this was actually when I was at Baja and I just had it on whilst eating pancakes. Really interesting. Actually pretty cool. Hard to keep up with though, because they move those freaking things like whips.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like the only because it is like very cool in theory, and then the only complaint is like you really, you're like that guy won. You're like he did.
Yeah.
Cool. Like it's you like
Yeah.
everything happens so fast, and then they're constantly like bending their like little foil.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's made of, but they're constantly like it's like it's
tin.
broken after every time they stab somebody, so they have to like
Yeah.
fix it again, which is like a weird little mechanism
Mhm.
during that. But it is interesting. Like I just feel like they need to. It's kind of like when hockey added the laser on the puck. It kind of needs that element. Like I need some. Like they should lightsaber the swords.
Yeah, they need to do something fun with it because I only watched it for 20 minutes. It was gripping for about 5, but then I just kept it on. You know what I mean?
Glow in the dark fencing, maybe.
Yeah, I did
Just-
watch the soccer. It's under 23 soccer. I think you get like a couple people that can be over the age of 23. The US has done pretty good with that.
Chaperones.
Yeah, they lost to France in the first round, but then they beat I want to say like Australia or New Zealand, one of the how you doing mate countries. Yeah, I know, great description. But
One of
that's
the
been
upside
fun.
down countries. They're from the other side. Yeah,
Yeah, one of the countries where their toilet spins the other way.
I'm with
So,
you. Yeah.
yeah, that was cool. The swimming, I know I keep going on swimming, but I saw for the first time ever like a Brazilian swimmer. I didn't even know that they competed in swim. I thought they were just out here doing like jujitsu or soccer. I don't know, stuff like that. But that was cool. Diversifying the pool, you know. But yeah, no, it's been cool. Honestly, the basketball has been the most like obviously eye-catching. US went out there and just beat the living shit out of Serbia, which was awesome to see. Jokic did not stand a chance. LeBron at 39, almost 40 years old, is just the absolute best player in the world still. So that's incredible to see. Devin Booker's looked really good. Kevin Durant went on like just an unreal tear.
Yeah.
What did he go like 23 points in the first half or something without missing a
Yeah,
shot?
he was like 8 for 8. Yeah, took one in the second half just for kicks. But yeah, but he looks he's incredible in that format for what like
He's like
he
Melo.
is literally the best. If you just have a bunch of the greatest scorers in the world, he still stands out as the best.
Yep. This US team is actually pretty fun to watch. Which, by the way, I find it hilarious that they added old boy from the Celtics, and he's played more minutes than anybody that you would have thought. Derek White. Derek White played more minutes than Tatum, and he looked good doing it. You know what I mean? Played really good defense.
Tatum tears today were unbelievable.
Yeah, did you see that Bill Simmons didn't even throw a pot out there when he was scheduled to?
He like all of Boston is like they're basically throwing tea into the harbor again. Like they're so upset. Instead, they're just throwing their tea. Like, dude, who could like? All right, one. In all sincerity, like, I just want the U.S. team to win, and like whatever Steve Kerr decides around that, it's always going to be weird with Olympic teams. Like, there's 12 like really great players on this team, like, and the pieces kind of have to work. Whatever. If Tatum is being whatever about that, like if he's not fully vested or whatever the reasons are, obviously he's a really talented guy. This doesn't like, but they're like acting like it's this huge demerit. I know he's getting like flamed on the internet, but then everybody's like coming to his defense to be like, this can't happen to Jason Tatum. You can't do him. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
like
who cares?
Just get over it. Like who cares? Like it was crazy today. I mean, this is why Boston fans are the worst though, is because there's so many in the media that like when something like this does happen, it's just gross on the internet. Like it was so gross today. Portnoy, Simmons, you name it, every single Boston guy just completely up in arms, devastated by America winning by 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they won by damn near 30 points, and like they did it pretty easily. Like, you know,
what's the complaint?
Exactly. The rest of the team though looks solid, man. Like Drew Holiday's been great. Even Anthony Davis had his moments out there. Him and LeBron are connecting really well. But LeBron has been kind of the story, dude. Like he's been so phenomenal, even through the exhibitions. He's been carrying this team, and it's just wild to me. There's just nobody. Even at almost 40, there's nobody that's as big and as athletic as him in the world. Obviously, we still have yet to play like France, which is going to be, I think, like our biggest challenge. Spain's going to be good. But I don't know, dude. If we play like we played the other day, like there's nobody in the world that can beat us. Absolutely zero.
Yeah. Well, look, we're still the best. I mean, the accumulation of talent is still by far the best. You know, you talk about the first dream team versus the 61 players that are NBA players that are now spread, you know, throughout these teams. But in terms of the collection of talent, even though we don't have the top, you know, maybe 3 or 4 guys that you could argue about anymore, the collection of talent, because everybody, you know, 5 to 20 is essentially an American or however you want to frame it. So yeah, like we should absolutely still, of course, look, gold's the expectation. It always will be. And as Kevin Durant's basically been saying, like, what's wrong with going and asserting ourselves and kicking their ass? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, let's put some respect on him and let's go, you know, do our thing. And KD looks like he's about it.
Yep, absolutely. It was cool to see Dawn Staley up there, obviously the coach of South Carolina for the women's. And she was talking about how Devin Booker is probably the most underrated player on the team, that he's an underrated defender, and that he's just like the perfect like glue piece for this team. That makes me feel better about the Suns going forward. You know what I mean? Like we know that, but if he can play a little bit more like how he plays on the Olympic team instead of like trying to be the guy, they can be like just a collection of really awesome talents. I think they'll be really good next year in the NBA as well.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, because they did just get Tyus Jones. So I know you texted me this weekend. We went from having 0 point guards all last year to now we have 2 really solid point guards in Tyus Jones and Monty Morris. Tyus is going to start. I think they've already kind of announced that. Now we're going to kick Grayson Allen to the bench, which I think is so awesome. Because if he plays how he played last year, but just off like a 6-man role, that's exactly what this team was missing. Somebody that, you know, can create and like run the offense in Tyus Jones, who's not a liability on either end. He's great, you know, on both. He's good, not great on everything, which is exactly what this team needs.
Exactly.
And then you're able to bring like the scoring and shooting ability off the bench that sorely needed it last year. Now you look at this team for next year and like it's pretty damn solid, dude. You know what I mean? You got Grayson off the bench. You got, you think the rookie will play off the bench, or do you think he's gonna be kind of like pushed down a little bit?
Do I think the rookies will still get minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, yes. I think they're gonna still continue to like tinker, experiment, and find things out. I think like with Dunn in particular, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have to find roles to mix in a dynamic wing defender.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think him and Josh Okogie are going to get probably equal opportunity at that on some level,
yeah.
right? But in terms of Dunn being, the 7-foot wingspan guy, that was certainly something that's been missing as well. So I just think that everybody's going to have opportunity to get minutes in an 82-game season where players spend 10 to 15 games on a bench for whatever reason anyways.
Yep.
That the added depth is just great all around. So love what they did at the point guard position. As much as like we talked about it, and I'm sure we were sitting here talking about the Kool-Aid too of like, look, there's guys that can bring up the ball, which I think is all true. I don't think any of that's like not true. You're still probably going to see Point Book at times this year. You're probably still going to see Bradley Beal as the lead guard at some times this year.
Sure.
But what it does do is it allows them to take some of the weight and pressure off of like having to organize, initiate the offense, then have to do all these other things. So I just think it just takes pressures off. And then I'm just really curious because now, even 2 weeks ago, I was thinking like the rookies had to play a pivotal part in like the roster build. And like adding Tyus Jones, like honestly takes so much pressure off of that. Like you said, making Grayson the 6th guy, Royce O'Neal the 7th. Royce O'Neal, am I saying the right guy?
Royce, yeah.
Okay, and like I'm like, why does that not feel right? But like, so basically they're just moving those guys down the line. So hopefully that is the case. But I'd love to see him step up and take minutes as well.
Because the second unit, correct me if I'm wrong, should go Monty Morris, Grayson Allen, probably Dunn at the 3, Royce O'Neal, and you can kind of interchange both of those.
Those guys can play 3-4 depending on like what they like. Yep.
And then Mason Plumlee,
and Bol Bol still in there.
Yeah, Bol Bol could play the 4. I mean, he played really well, and he's like kind of exactly what Coach Bud likes to play. I'm kind of curious to see if he'll play any of the 5 because he is kind of very loosely, but kind of like a Brook Lopez, how he can stretch it. He needs to get better at defense, right? Because that's what Brook was really good at, was just shot blocking and 3-point shooting. It was never like a awesome rebounder like Robin. God, Robin Lopez, what a guy. But he can be kind of like that Brook Lopez light. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like what Shaq has always said, right? Bol Bol is exactly what Wemby is if he gave a shit, if he actually worked hard. If
what it feels like. I mean, when you look at them, like, I mean, I know what Shaq's saying is crazy, but when you look at them, I'm like, he's not like wrong.
No, he's not, dude. So that second unit all of a sudden is really, really good. And then you have the big man out of Marquette again, right? Like we drafted, Oso, who no pressure, right? You can fill in when necessary, and then you still have a few of those just kind of like random guys at the end of the bench, whereas last year they were playing for sure like 6-man minutes. So I don't know, man. I think with adequate coaching, I think with health, that's like the biggest thing that kind of hindered us last year. Chemistry wise, right? Now we have a whole nother offseason where these 3 guys are able to kind of congeal a little bit better, especially now with the Olympics too. It's just another tournament that Book and Katie get to play off of each other. Could be a fun season. I'm going to caution that because we're the Phoenix Suns and nothing's ever easy, ever. But it's kind of the perfect storm. It's been a really great and fun off season for them.
I really couldn't have asked them to do much more.
Yeah.
Given and my expectations, frankly, were lower than like what the results, that came to. Like, I didn't expect that we'd be able to draft 2 guys that whether they're fit in the rotation this year or down the line, or even just having the opportunity to even just bring 2 like young bodies into camp. Because I think it just needed like the roster needed a youth movement in some direction. Those 2 guys, certainly provide that. Tyus isn't old. He's like 28. So he's like, sub 30. So again, adding like youth to the roster, able to retain Bol Bol, who's still like technically a younger project. And then, what we hated and what every Suns fan hated was Drew Eubanks. They brought
God.
in Oso initially. Were able to bring in Plumlee. I think both or the combination thereof is certainly feels better to me than what Eubanks looked like at any given point in time last year. He really didn't give us anything I was ever excited about.
He
And
didn't do
then
anything.
again, the issue around the point guard play. And even though they kind of poo-pooed that and said it wasn't an issue, turnovers were an issue the entire time. And they brought in 2 great assisted turnover, run their business point guards. So while adding a versatile wing, like a wing defender who at least is going to come in with that, like every single thing that we talked about as an issue, they seemingly have tried to address it. And like just the effort given they're in the second apron is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and they didn't go out and do the weird Suns thing that I was kind of worried that they were going to go out and do. Like we all knew we needed a point guard. We all knew we needed like a wing defender. And what I was worried that James Jones was going to go do is just like trade the rest of our bench and like any kind of draft capital we had for insert big name player here that's going to probably jack up the chemistry and leave us with no bench. Instead, they did exactly like the smart thing to do, is just go fill out the bench with like what we said about Tyus, like good, not great, which is really all we needed. We just needed a rotation because by the time you get to the playoffs, man, like these rotations matter. You know what I mean? And like health matters. And I think the biggest thing you've said so far in regards to the Suns is now we have guys that, you know, will give Booker and Beal specifically a big time rest. I think Dunn can kind of relieve a little bit of what KD, I mean, not the scoring, but like definitely the defensive capabilities out there, right? Gives him somebody that they can bring on, even the ability to bring Royce O'Neal on for KD. Like that's huge. You can even throw Bol into that KD spot. So that's really all we're looking for is just the health aspect of things, a healthy rotation, and just some accountability from the head coach, because that's what we were lacking a lot last year too. So fun Suns off season. Moving on to the next thing. I didn't even talk to you about doing this, but I think you'll be fine with it. But we do have our merch out now. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and show you. We are lucky enough to be partnered with Cactus Blossom Customs here in Tucson, Arizona. And they were nice enough to go ahead and build us a website as well. So if you go to cactusblossomcustoms.com, there will be kind of a tab that says Jump Shots from the Goal Line Podcast. It'll take you right here. You can see our beautiful mugs, some of our guests that we've had on, some of our merch, right? And you can actually go right here, get our gear, and you can go ahead and get for right now, the Give Wilbur His Guns Back tee that's just going bananas on Wildcat Authority. Yes, people are still talking on Wildcat Authority about it. But a cool development today, we have all kinds of sizes, right? You can go on there, get a size. You can go ahead and get cotton dry fit or a hoodie. You can go on there, get black, heather, navy, heather gray. But the cool thing for us is we do have shipping available now. So go on there, support the pod. Some of our other merch is being worked on by Cactus Blossom Customs, you know, like the Not a Golf Pod, polo, hats, things of that nature. They will start trickling in there as our good friend over there gets working on it. But go ahead and support the pod. A few of you already have, so we appreciate that. I'll put the link in the description. We'll throw it out there on Twitter again, throw it out on Instagram again, but go and support the pod. Other than that, we did have some golf things kind of happen the last 2 weeks. So in the spirit of our wonderful partner, Tasty, I'm going to go ahead and play our infomercial real quick, and then we'll jump into the Tasty Minute.
We're on a mission to make golf tees a little bit less boring. So I'm calling on all golfers to go start and buy some Tasties. Tasty.com, be your best friend. Promo code JumpShotsPod, 15% off. Now watch this drive.
Never gets old.
I
I'm
don't know
telling
why
you,
it's funny.
I don't play it just to see myself, but it honestly was like a good infomercial. And by the way, Tasties, go get them, guys. Like, there's so many different options on there. You can get your little like sampler packs. It's like 3 of them at a time. You can get a full pouch. You can get multiple pouches. I believe they're about to drop a new flavor here pretty soon. It may or may not be. I'm trying to think. What was it?
Dude, and go vote also. He's got a flavor
That's what
thing
it
going
is,
right now. So like
like-
go vote on a flavor. Like I feel like pumpkin spice was in the lead, which I
That's-
found alarming.
Yeah.
So I went in there and made sure that I got dill pickle in there. I'm leaning dill pickle myself.
Ooh, okay.
I think a dill pickle, refreshing, right? You're thinking about electrolytes. You're thinking about like that already feels like that fits the vibe and the flavor. If you know you're in Tucson, EG's has got that pickle EG going right now. I haven't done it, so I'm not doing a review here. But just in general, right?
Yep.
Dill pickle in the summertime, I think that's a nice one. So that's where my vote is. But feel free to go on there, vote. Let our man know what you're interested in, and if it's pumpkin spice, that's your cup of tea. No judgment. In fall, like that might speak to me, but it's hot, man. Dill pickle sounds good.
Dill pickle would be good, like a mango. Dude, I've been really on the mango train lately. I've been eating mangoes like every other day, so mango would be good. What were some of the other options that were on there?
Joint.
Yeah. What else was on there? But I think you're right. Pumpkin spice was in the lead. Look, guys, like jump shots from the goal line. Do we enjoy like a PSL in the fall? Maybe once, like get one out of the way. I'm not trying to have a pumpkin spice latte like Tasty in my mouth. No offense to our guy over there at Tasty, but that's more for the wives. Okay. That's more for the wives. So go out there, use our code Jump Shots. I say Jump Shots Pod in the infomercial. That was because I'd already had a couple shots of tequila. It's Jump Shots. 15% off. You can't beat it. Go and give them a try. And in that spirit, we have our Tasty Minute really quick. John, I know you watched the Open. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, so grape, root beer, and barbecue being the other 3 flavors in play. So if you're
barbecue.
grape, I'd be listening to grape too. I'd hear an argument for grape. But yeah, talking golf, our Not a Golf Pod minutes. The British Open, the Open Championship, however you like to frame it. It's the British Open to me as a kid. I haven't really changed. I know there's reasons why. I haven't read any about why I should change it. So I just keep saying British Open. But Xander Schauffele coming through, absolutely punching everybody in the mouth on Sunday, delivering the best score easily and then winning by a few strokes when he seemingly was like he was lurking the entire time. The question I have for you, or like the thought that I have, and to me, I already know my answer, but we spent an awful lot of time talking about Scottie Scheffler and all of the dominance of the season. He did win 6 tournaments. He's the money leader by over $10 million. He has a better scoring average. He's obviously been the dominant part of the conversation. They even tried to arrest him. He was so good. But like he's been really great throughout the season. But at the end of the day, Xander Schauffele won 2 majors this year. Not 1, but 2. Scottie only won 1 major. So really my question to you, and you don't have to have a specific answer, but like who really had the better year when Xander won 2 majors?
I think we have to go back to what we've always talked about, right? How do we stack rank the majors? And like, is the Masters just so like the OG tournament, kind of like name recognition? You win that. Does that give you more like, I guess, points on the power rankings than like 2 majors like Schauffele won? I don't know. I think it is wildly impressive that Schauffele's won 2 majors, though. And he's always been one of those guys that I think we've even talked about him a few times. Like he's always been in the mix. He always finishes pretty high up on the leaderboard. It's just kind of like his year now. I don't know. Brett again with a good point. Sounds like a Peyton versus Brady argument. Who's the regular season best and who's the best? I think that's a really apropos like analogy, right? Peyton versus Brady. It's tough though, man. It's really, really tough not to still give it to our guy because he won the Masters. He's had a hell of a run all year. I don't know who to give it to, man. What are your thoughts?
I just think it has to be Xander. I almost went Xander. I almost went full Open Championship. Xander. But no, I just think like if you win 2 majors, that's just 2-1 to me. you can slice all the other stuff up. Like all the other tournaments are great. Maybe Scheffler still ends up winning like Tour Player of the Year, and that's fine. I will, as crazy as it sounds, like I think I'm going to remember Schauffele winning 2 majors in a season and say like that's just a better season. Like these are the events that we hold at the greatest weight, and no matter how much more weight you might put on the Masters, and certainly that is a conversation that Scotty and Xander can have. Like, hey, you don't have one of these nice jackets, but they both have 2 majors now. I mean, Scheffler only has 2. He's won the Masters twice. He hasn't stretched and won anywhere else. So at this point, it's kind of a question of like, hey, he's winning like all these other tournaments. He's clearly figured out Augusta, but like he has to start, winning some of those other tournaments to really get, turn the corner on that conversation. And the reason I just find it interesting is as much as we crown Scheffler and say like, oh, it's this thing like Tiger. Well, now we have like Koepka with 5 majors, which is again still more than Scotty. We have Xander who caught up to Scotty in one season, like 1-2 majors. We have guys like Morikawa out there who's still won a couple in his challenge. Now Bryson has 2, right? So there's guys that are like in this conversation. So as much as we're kind of pushing back at like this, or like jumping on this narrative that, Scotty is having this Tiger type season, Tiger won a lot more majors before we really had that conversation. So I just think it's really, really interesting. And to Brett's point, it's always been really confusing on the leaderboard with those guys. Patrick Cantlay in that mix too, also like a very like
gross.
Just but he like also blends into like the which white guy that dresses like this corporate PGA guy is this. So like they all kind of blend in. And I know Schauffele and Cantlay were even wearing some of the same clothes over the weekend, scored on the same on the leaderboard. So there's a lot of, it gets messy.
Did you see Homa? He got caught on a hot mic, just being one of us.
No, it was just cursed. I probably saw, or maybe it like came and went.
I think he hit like a chip or something like that. And he's like, God damn it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't love him anymore already, but like, God, he's the best,
We did have Rahm finally won on the Live Tour, so congratulations. We finally had Rahm finally was able to scratch one across there on the Live Tour, so I did see that he did get his dub.
If Rahm wins on the Live Tour but nobody watches the CW, does it really count?
I know. I actually saw a guy. I was playing with a guy over the weekend though. He said he's really into Live. Like he like adamantly believed, and I'm not here to like. I mean, he made a relatively fair argument, but it was the most excited I've seen somebody. And he's like a guy who's a golf guy. He's the most excited I've seen someone about Live. So like, there's one besides our guy drunk at the turn who I know is out there spewing that Live, propaganda like crazy. But
big time.
So we know 2 that I know of for sure.
Yeah, I was that guy for like a couple weeks after we got done covering it, but then I was like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, he made some good points about it, like in terms of like what they're bringing to the table in terms of like their coverage and some of these other things. And it's interesting. And like we've talked about on here, they have a solid field and it's certainly gotten better. But golf's still in such a weird place. I mean, it'd certainly be better if they're all in all of the events, which is why the majors still mean the most to me. And you could almost make the point that they actually mean more than ever because those Live guys are in those events and they're not going to be in those other events, right? So
is Schauffele the world number 1 for you right now?
See, that's the thing. Like Scheffler is still going to be rated number 1 because of his like overall success, the points accumulated.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you were saying like who had the best year in golf, I don't understand how it could be anyone but Schauffele with 2 majors, right? Well, it's like when the Lakers won the in-season tournament and the bubble championship in the same year. Like had they done that, probably the greatest team of all time.
Well, let me tell you, 2 majors doesn't stack up to 8 club championships like former President Trump, who we did see playing a little bit of golf with Live superstar Bryson DeChambeau this past week. We both watched it. You thought it was pretty boring. I get what you mean by that. It is 2 white guys playing golf. One of them happens to be almost 80, and then the other one is a mad genius. Though, I guess I'm becoming more and more of a golf guy because it was fascinating to me to just watch both of them play. Bryson, his likability factor since going to Live, which a lot of people would think would be counterproductive, it's gone through the roof for him. Like, he's very, very likable. His YouTube channel is very enjoyable. And then, not to get political, but seeing Trump go out there and get by himself, was it a birdie or an eagle, was pretty damn cool. Old man game strong, like you like to say, but guy can golf. He can throw down the sticks.
Yeah, he was solid. I mean, he has his old man game, right? They were playing from the Reds. They moved it all up, which is like not to take away, but just to give context. They played from the Reds. They never played a hole that was, it's just part of his whole gimmick. So it's not like he's doing anything different than what he normally does with that. They're always trying to like crush the scorecard. It's part of his whole deal.
Yeah.
But with that comes like some reality of, okay, this guy hits the ball relatively straight. This guy doesn't hit it far, so he shouldn't be talking any shit about these 22 championships. Not to say that he might not have ever someday blah, blah, blah. But again, this goes back to, and again, my whole thing about this is purely apolitical, could care less. Correct. What I am telling you is I'm protecting the sanctity of golf and people lying out of their fucking mouths about the sport. And what I will still continue to contest is Trump was not hitting a 6 or a 7 iron 175 yards in front of Ernie Els into the wind for a hole in one. No, this is like a driver 7-wood pitching wedge type of guy. Okay, if you're a golfer out there, if you have a tasty in, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you are like telling yourself like it was the most incredible round of golf I've ever seen by an older man, I encourage you to get out more. I do think you are like maybe drinking a little too much of that Kool-Aid. Maybe the red dye from your hat's leaking into your brain, whatever the case may be. But like I ultimately just think like it was a solid round of golf by an old man. I thought it was kind of a little bit whatever, but to anybody who's like a hater of Trump and says that he's absolute trash and everything he says is a lie, no, the guy's like solid. The guy like hit the ball, moved it along, and like played some decent golf. So I think it was like a win for Trump in being somewhat normal. Relatable. But I just want to remind you that the man has been saying some ridiculous shit about his game, and that's the part that I will not stand for.
Let's just put it this way. Him and Kim Jong-il are not too dissimilar when it comes to lying about their golf game.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I still don't trust this guy. And mind you, like, this was recorded a long time ago. He's got 17 caddies out there for what reasons, I don't know. What kind of things were filmed, not filmed, off film, on film? Not to now I'm just going to sound like the rest of America. I'm like, want to hear the conspiracy theory about this? No, but like really truthfully, like I just think that take it with a grain of salt, but he did hit the ball solid. I would have died though to watch him like play from the rough, scramble, and like actually have to battle on any of these holes. Because when Bryson bails you out when you don't hit the shot, he made every putt, yada, all these things. I want to watch people play real golf and like truly suffer the way I have to, is basically what I'm getting at. And we didn't get any of that out of this video. So snooze fest. I know Bryson was good. Yeah.
I mean, that goes without saying. Like the guy, he actually is a very, very good like golfer, so that's unsurprising. Yeah. How many times do you think Trump called Bryson partner, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was why it got a little boring. I'm like, okay, bucko. Like him calling him partner about 1,000 times. Another thing that I did find really funny about it though was finding out I think that golf Twitter is actually like equally or as devastating as political Twitter. Like if you got into the comments of that thing, certainly there was the back and forth, red, blue, cheerleaders, everybody had their pom-poms out. That's bad enough. But then when you really get into the comments, having people, you don't know shit about golf, let me tell you, like that is still the funniest, like the back and forth between, I think basically the political people found out golf Twitter is actually worse.
Yeah.
Like in a nutshell, like surprisingly, you're probably like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to politics. This golf shit is not for me. It's a little too cutthroat. These people are sick. Yeah.
Well, it was still fun. I'm glad that it happened, right? Especially after that first debate, like arguing about golf games. It was fun to watch, like somebody that does talk shit about their golf game.
I watched it.
Yeah, it was gripping. It pulled me in. Cool. Well, hey, again, another thing I didn't prep you for, but something I was listening to a few other podcasts and I thought it'd be fun. College football is a month away, like pretty much today. I think we have games like starting like August 30th, right? So I'm sure you've noticed, I'm sure our audience has noticed, a lot of conferences have been doing their media days. You're seeing a lot of like guys taking pictures in the new uni, stuff like that. Seeing coaches just say asinine things. So I wanted to kind of play on that, right? I have a list of the top 10 current highest paid football coaches. Okay. I am going to give you 3 lives. I want you to try to get all 10 of them. Okay. Make sense?
Sure.
So I have the list in front of me. Go ahead and start naming naming coaches.
So I'm already gonna screw up the new Bama guy's name. DeBoer is on there.
Hold on. Yep. He is
Kalen.
at 10.8 million a year.
Dabo's on there.
Okay. Dabo. How much is he making? Dabo's right below him at 11.5.
Dan Lanning's on there.
Let me see. That is your first life that has been taken away. You
That's
have
tough.
2 more.
That's tough.
So just to give you context, Dabo or Dabo, however you want to say it, I always say it wrong, and DeBoer are 2 and 3.
Yeah, so one's our guy, and Kirby's on there. I already know he's on there,
Kirby's
but I
number
was
1.
trying to think of a mean joke about him first, but I'm gonna let it slide, and we'll just say it just to get one safely on the list.
Kirby's at 13 million a year at number 1. So you're the top 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be our guy at Ohio State, for sure.
Yep. He's 5 at 10.3.
And then do we go more SEC? Do we go more Big Ten? That is the question. I don't think Florida State's paying the guy that top 10 money, is he? Are they? They give him top 10 money for winning a pseudo national championship?
I don't know. What do you think?
Who else is out there for sure? Is USC's guy on there? Do we have
Lincoln Riley?
Lincoln Riley.
Yep, he's at 10 million. He's at number 6. So right after Ryan Day.
Hardest part right now, and I can't believe this is why, but like it's so hard to think of their names right now because I'm going Sarkisian.
Yep. He's number 4. Sarkisian's at 4 at 10.8 million. So you
Brian
have
Kelly.
Brian Kelly's there. So far you have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and you have number 8. You're missing 10, 9, and 7.
So I'm gonna try Venable.
Nope.
He just got re-upped, and still
Nope.
no. God, Oklahoma, you cheap bastards!
You got one more.
I thought you were a top 10 program, Oklahoma. I thought you were in the SEC now. You don't even spend money on coaches. How embarrassing!
You want a quick hint, really quick?
Well, it's gonna be more. It's got to be more SEC.
Yeah.
It's like it just has to be more SEC money. I'll just try this one at risk of my own peril, and I'm gonna go with Joey Freshwater.
Yep, Joey is at number 9 with 9 million.
Hell yeah!
So you need number 10, and you need number 7. Which, quick hint, you were about to say it earlier.
I'm not sure what I was gonna say earlier. It's got to be in the SEC though. It's not Arkansas. It's no one else in the West. I don't think it can't be anyone in the East. The East is so bad. Tennessee's coach, they wouldn't pay him that much. He shouldn't have deserved that yet.
What's your answer?
Let's just go with Tennessee just to get me out of this.
Yep, he's number 10.
He did sneak in. Oh my God.
Number 10 at 9 million. He's tied with Freshwater. All right, you need number 7. And again, a clue. You almost said it earlier.
I don't know what I was almost gonna say. Because it's not even Franklin. It's not like it has to be another LSU, Bama, Mississippi. It's not Mississippi. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. You almost said it earlier, dude. It's not SEC. I'll give you that.
So it's another Big 10 coach?
Nope.
It's a Big 12 coach?
No.
Okay. So then it's like I don't have a good idea then. Like, so it's another, so I almost said it with Florida State. So
Yeah.
it's Norvell.
Norvell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 7, bro.
Wow.
Mike Norvell is making $10 million a year. Shocking, right?
It is, but those are the 10. I mean, like, if you just told me if you just listed the schools, it'd be easier. I honestly think the biggest shock there to me is that Oklahoma, because they extended Venable, so I'm surprised that they didn't just like back a truck up for no reason other than they were going to the SEC and wanted to like put a huge vote of confidence into this is our guy.
I'm surprised that he's not there. I'm surprised that Dan Lanning wasn't there, like you said earlier.
Lanning was surprising just because every story is we have unlimited NIL.
And I'm surprised Franklin's not there because he's re-upped before.
Yeah, and like has been successful there for years now, whatever you think about him.
The only other one that was a little shocking that wasn't there was like Mario Cristobal because he got a bag to move from Oregon to Miami.
He falls under like most money for least amount of wins, like per capita.
Yeah, per capita.
He's got to be like way up there. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah. Fun exercise, right? Getting us ready for college football, which by the way,
I felt pretty sharp. I mean, I didn't struggle through it as bad. I thought for a second, I was like, this is going to be like really tough right now. I wasn't thinking about college football today, but I mean, of course I was, but I wasn't thinking about that.
It's always in your mind.
Yeah.
Now, speaking
Some
of
people have
football,
the Roman Empire. I have golf and college football. Yeah.
Speaking of college football, my college football 25 update for anybody that cares. I did start a new dynasty with East Carolina University. Go
nice
Pirates.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Go Pirates. My mom's from Greenville, North Carolina. So I was like, hey, you know what? Like that's where they're at. First year I went 12-1. I lost to Oregon in the Peach Bowl. That was rough. It's tough, right? And then this past season, we went undefeated up until the national championship game against Georgia. We went up 21-0 and they came storming back. So, you know, there's a reason Kirby's number 1, baby. He's the reason he's getting the big bucks. But yeah, we move on. We keep moving. So East Carolina. Oh, I did move East Carolina to the SEC now. So
congratulations. That's a big win.
Chasing the bag, you know?
Yeah, I was just say that's how you, well, I mean, look, you just saw the top 10 coaches. I mean, that's how you're going to get paid.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, we're going to move on to everybody's favorite. We're going to go. All right. Let me go ahead. We are going to pull up X/Twitter onto the screen. So if you're listening to this audibly, again, I'm sorry, but hey, shit happens. So first up, we got our boy, former Wildcat, Chase Budinger, just absolutely dominating in sand volleyball. Did you watch any of this stuff, Kenny?
I did not get to watch any of this. I assume there's going to be a replay of it tonight, which maybe I'll catch. If not, I'll probably just try to catch the next time he plays. But so sand volleyball, I think is like a great watch. So
oh yeah,
I'm interested. I actually enjoy playing volleyball. I've had friends make fun of me. Oh, you like volleyball, but I do like truly enjoy volleyball, and I think the sand version is like by far the superior watch. And I'm stoked about, you know, this just tells you though, like everything you need to know about NBA guys. Also, like most of these guys, and Budinger played volleyball in high school. He was actually like the top player in the country. So this isn't like he never has played volleyball before and just showed up. But the guy is 36 and was just like, why don't I just do the Olympics now that I'm done playing in the NBA? Like that's pretty crazy. So this is a very cool story to me. And I'll definitely be rooting for him, bear down.
Yeah. Once was a diaper dandy, as Dickie V likes to call him, right? Which that was what was funny to me, was seeing all the USA basketball guys go up to Chase and congratulate him and, you know, kind of hang out with him. And then people started sharing that the McDonald's All-American game that
Yeah.
Kevin Durant was part of, and Chase Budinger. I think Chase got MVP of that game, didn't
No,
he?
yeah, they were co-MVPs. KD and Chase Budinger co-MVPs in the McDonald's All-American game. And you still see KD out there going and getting 23 points in limited minutes, going 8 for 9, and Chase Budinger out there just absolutely housing. I think they were playing the Czech guys today. I don't remember for sure, but making it rough for whoever was like, wait, is that guy I used to watch in the NBA on League Pass?
Yeah.
Damn right. Yeah, it is.
Is that former Timberwolves great Chase Budinger?
Yeah, exactly. Is that
Oh.
it's a Houston Rocket over there?
And here we go. More Olympics coverage. Everyone watching Katie put the entire country on his back. We definitely probably, I mean, we probably win that game, I think, because we're just that good. But like,
Yeah, I think so.
getting 23 from the boy was sure it was special. Absolutely.
I just like that he announced himself back on the scene. Like, I'm sure he was getting tired of hearing about LeBron the whole time, and and like, oh, it's so cool to have LeBron and Steph. And I think he wanted to make sure that he's in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, our next one. Watching surfing.
Yeah.
This is from you. You can take this.
Yeah,
one.
this is just so just to be clear, and I'm sure most of you have seen this, but you're out there, maybe the wave tosses you around. Next thing you know, your ass is out on national TV. So this is, and again, for those of us that aren't normally watching surfing, there might be a little more ass in it than you thought. Just as a heads up. So there's also another great picture today. You see that guy like kind of off his board? He looked like he was levitating over the ocean. So the moments from surfing, I haven't watched any of the surfing yet, to be honest with you. Although I did recently rewatch Blue Crush, a really great banger from my childhood. Kate Bosworth and that movie still stand up. So I will defend that movie, till my death. But anyways, I haven't watched the surfing, but it's definitely creating some nice viral moments at minimum.
Dude, that's the thing about the Olympics is you get some really good viral moments. Like the one guy competing in the dive competition and just absolutely eats shit. Like nothing better,
Yeah, and Kate Bosworth.
Here we go. On the tee box after the group in front of me said I could play through, and they have the stadium pulse meter from NCAA football. Let me tell you, that is so real. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me where I have a couple good drives, then I let one group that lets us play through, or you're on the first tee and you're just getting started. This is definitely what it feels like. Just nothing like it. All right.
Hard relate, but I don't mean to like absolutely shine in that moment. Nothing worse than being embarrassed by someone I've never met before. No problem embarrassing myself in front of my friends.
All right, here we go. Interesting quote from Patriots rookie wide receiver Jalen Polk on the Patriots receivers. I heard the fans say the Patriots don't have any weapons. Well, this isn't Iraq, buddy. When the other team comes through looking for trouble, they will find weapons of mass destruction here. I don't know if this is a real quote or not. I hope to God it is. It is coming from Boston Cream on Twitter. So I have my
Who
doubt.
you can find at It's Boston Cream.
Yeah, I have my doubts, but God, I hope it's real. I really do. Nothing like a good throwback to.
Damn it! I didn't do the research on this one.
Neither did I, and I completely forgot. But we can kind of
weeks ago. Yeah.
Football coach wedge stripper girlfriend named Pole Assassin.
America will do better. I'm going to get back to you on this one. I'm pretty sure this guy's story originally came out when he met her as like a disastrous instance with his former wife, I would assume now.
Infidelity.
And it caused like all sorts of problems within like his coaching world. So let us get back to you on this, because Pole Assassin, like, you don't forget a name like Pole Assassin. I'll just say that. And when something like this comes back up, like it's weird. It's weird that in college football, something like Pole Assassin would trigger like, oh, I have a memory about this. Let me do some research and get back to you, Dugan.
Guy looks really happy though, so good for him.
He does, and Pole Assassin looks like a real sweetheart.
The son of Prince Fielder is joining the Brewers organization, a source tells The Athletic. The team has signed Jaden Fielder, who went undrafted out of TNXL Academy in Altamonte Springs, Florida. Fielder 19 placed second and third base. My God. First of all, we have Cecil Fielder, Prince Fielder, and now Jaden Fielder. How old do you feel right now?
Yeah, so this is devastating. Like whatever I said about Blue Crush, this is aging me far worse. I mean, I like really remember Cecil Fielder.
Yeah.
And then I
I do too.
really saw all of Prince Fielder's whole career. And I don't think I'm that. I mean, like I'm not young. I don't go around telling anybody I'm young. But a third one, like this one really caught me off guard. All the kid stuff now, I'm like, dude, I get it. There's gonna be kids out here, not a problem. This would be a grandchild.
Yeah, of somebody you
So
want.
that's a little concerning. I wasn't really ready for grandchild levels of guys showing up here.
Yeah, that's wild. Dude, I still remember Prince Fielder, like when he first got started, how much swag he had and everything, and now he has a son. So it's weird, man. It's weird. Cool. Oh, just a cool 21 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals tonight for Pelle Larsson as Summer League winds down. We've said it a lot about Kashad, but I think there are a lot of teams. Turns out Arizona had some NBA guys on their roster last year, and Miami decided to take both of them. So good teams draft good players. Weird.
Glad to see Pell doing well too, though, and I'm glad we got it. Want to just give him some love because, like you said, we talked about Keshad quite a bit. So nice to see Pell doing it too.
Dude, Pella was always a really fun player to watch. He's just very cerebral. I know we're using all the white guy adjectives.
Well, he was McHale's darling too. To be clear, that was he's their princess.
Yeah, I mean he spurned Utah for us, so
that's right.
Always love him.
Yeah, I do love that. Honestly, I sincerely do love that.
Yep. All right, we already talked about Bryson. Top 8 in all 4 majors in the same season, including multiple wins since 1980. Like you mentioned before, Tiger, Spieth, and then Schauffele. Spieth had a real run there back in 2015 and has done shit else since.
Yeah, he's just like a really popular corporate guy. He's really popular on tour. Everybody seems to like him. He's like a media darling still. He really falls into the same thing. He's just like America's Rory.
Yeah.
Even though like America kind of loves Rory too, but they're really in the same world where they had a moment. It seemed like it was going to happen. And now it's like they've been through several swing changes and they'll never be the same.
Yep. TNT Sports has informed the NBA plans to match Amazon Prime's video.
This was for a moment. We had a moment where like maybe TNT was back. They're out. They're done. It's been all killed. So for a day there was hope again, a glimmer.
Yep, it's dead. We are in peak boat launch video season.
This video rips, by the way. Like this is like why you should be watching the YouTube because like I could watch these. Like I don't know why my algorithm hasn't figured out on any social media platform that I will watch people dump their trucks into a lake, destroy. Like this guy's probably never having kids. There's a lot of things that are going on in these videos that are just, and then what's even better is there's 10 people just filming like, because clearly this guy was too prideful to ask for help, get any understanding, and now they're like, fine, we'll film your ass. We'll make you famous.
I really want to know what was he doing.
I don't know. On this one, I truly like. I don't know. I don't even like. I don't even have a guess.
It really brings new meaning to the term failure to launch. It's not just a movie anymore. So, good movie though.
Your failure to launch. I see. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, we all have our things. So, all right. Cool. So that is Twitter fingers, and that's pretty much the show, everybody. I do want to give another quick call to action, right? Hey, we do have our merch out there. It's just the Gil Wilbur's Guns Back shirts for now, but our good friend at Cactus Blossom Customs is working diligently to get the other merch on there. So we'll have the Not a Golf Pod polos on there, which you see in the infomercial. We will have the Polyzona shirts on there. We'll probably have some cool hats. I know he's working on that as well. Any other ideas for merch, please DM us and let us know on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever. But check out the website too, right? Like it has everywhere that we have the show. It has our wonderful partners on there like Tasty. So, you can literally go right there. I think Tasty's website's embedded, or at least you know where to look. I don't know, I might be speaking out my ass here, but like at least go and check out Tasty as well. Go find out, what awesome flavors they have. Go vote, not just in the elections on November 5th, but the real elections that matter about what tasty flavor is coming up next.
That's right.
We cannot tolerate pumpkin spice lattes. Please go vote for pickle or barbecue. I will accept either one of those. Those play all year round.
I know everybody who has a taste in their mouth is in Texas, Arizona, or some other warm weather state. You can't possibly tell me you want pumpkin spice. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Go
play.
vote. Go rock the real vote, as Steven said.
Yeah, go rock the vote. But hey, make sure that you are following us on Instagram, following us on Twitter, following us on Facebook, TikTok. We're on all the different platforms. We joke around that we're on Truth Social. Don't go looking for us there. We're actually not there. It's like the one thing we're not. Not
I'll
yet.
work on it. I'll work on it.
Yeah. But also make sure that you click that like or subscribe button on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. Click the bell icon right there so you know that when we go live or when a new episode drops. And please share the show, right? Hey, we've grown a lot the last couple of years. This has been a really, really fun ride that we would like to keep going. But it's relying on you guys sharing the show. So we appreciate everything you guys have done so far. Go look at the merch. Go share the show. We love your support, but we need more of it. So with that, go watch the Olympics. Go watch freaking people running around, playing ping pong. What else is there out there? Rowing in the scene, whatever it is. Go have fun. Go enjoy. Go enjoy the last few days of summer. And we'll be back next week. With that, we bid you adieu.